Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Abraham Lincoln penny coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today we're diving into a coin that might surprise you. It's a small, humble piece of history, but with a fascinating story and a jaw-dropping value. If you're a fan of rare coins or just love the thrill of discovering hidden treasures, you're in for a real treat today. Get ready as we explore the United States 1-cent coin from 1974, yes, the penny, and how it could be worth much more than you'd expect. Stick around until the end to find out just how much this seemingly ordinary penny could fetch in today's market. Now, let's take a step back in time to 1974. The U.S. economy was in the midst of some interesting shifts. The country was navigating through the tail end of the post-Vietnam War era, while also dealing with the oil crisis and inflation. This was a time when things were changing rapidly, politically, economically, and culturally. In 1974, the U.S. Mint produced millions of 1-cent coins, just like they do every year. The coin itself, of course, didn't stand out much at first glance. It was still your typical Lincoln penny, with the image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side and the familiar Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But what makes this particular year so interesting is that within those millions of pennies, there exists a rarity that could make you a lot of money, if you know what to look for. The 1974 1-cent coin, while common in its design, contains some anomalies that make it highly desirable for collectors. Some of these pennies were minted with small but significant errors, and others have unusual characteristics that make them even rarer than the ones that were perfectly struck. The first thing you need to know is that not every 1974 penny is valuable. In fact, the vast majority of them are worth only their face value, 1 cent. However, as with any rare collectible, condition is key. A coin's value often increases exponentially when it's in pristine or near pristine condition. Coins that have been well preserved and kept in mint state are always more valuable to collectors. So, the first step to finding a valuable 1974 penny is to make sure it's been stored carefully and is free from excessive wear and tear. If you happen to come across one that's still in excellent shape, you're already off to a great start. Now, let's talk about the real gem, the 1974 penny with a rare minting error. There are a few different types of errors that have been identified in the 1974 1-cent coin, and each one can dramatically affect the coin's value. One of the most sought-after varieties is the 1974 double die penny. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned, causing the design to be stamped more than once, resulting in a noticeable doubling effect. You can usually spot a double die penny by closely examining the inscriptions, particularly the word Liberty or the date itself. If you notice a doubled image, you've got a rare error on your hands. Another error that adds significant value to a 1974 penny is the no mint mark variety. As you may know, U.S. coins are typically marked with a mint mark to indicate where they were produced, either in Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, or San Francisco, S. However, in some rare cases, a small number of 1974 pennies were struck in Philadelphia without any mint mark. This minting anomaly makes the coin even rarer and, therefore, more valuable to collectors who are looking for something truly unique. Collectors often seek out these types of error coins because they are one of a kind. Error coins are considered rare due to the fact that they represent a mistake in the minting process, and mistakes in the world of numismatics are often highly sought after. These error coins are sometimes known as variations because they deviate from the standard design, making them even more interesting and valuable to those who specialize in collecting rare and unique pieces. So, how much could a 1974 penny with one of these rare features be worth? Well, the price can vary depending on the condition of the coin, the rarity of the error, and current market demand. A 1974 double die penny in excellent condition could easily fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction, depending on its specifics. But here's the kicker: the most valuable 1974 1-cent coins, the ones with the most extreme errors and the highest demand, can be worth a staggering amount of money. Are you ready for this? If you happen to have a 1974 penny in exceptional condition, especially one with a rare error like the double die or the no mint mark, and you decide to put it on the market, you could sell it for up to $75,000. Yes, you read that correctly. A single penny, worth just 1 cent when it was first minted, could potentially be worth $75,000 today. It's hard to believe, right? But that's the power of rare collectibles in the world of numismatics. A small error or a pristine condition can turn an ordinary coin into a valuable treasure. So, if you've got any 1974 pennies lying around in your collection, or if you come across one in your coin hunting adventures, make sure to check them carefully. Look for any signs of doubling on the date or inscriptions, or check if there's a mint mark. If you find something unusual, it could very well be the hidden gem you've been waiting for. Top 2, we're going to talk about a coin that you might have in your collection, or maybe you've come across it in your coin hunting adventures without realizing its true worth. We're diving into the United States 1 cent coin from 1973, but not just any 1 cent. We're talking about the 1973 S penny, and this little coin could be hiding a fortune. The 1973 S penny might seem like just another regular penny, but trust me, there's more to it than meets the eye. First, let's set the scene and talk about the year it was minted. The US was in the middle of a turbulent time in 1973. The country was experiencing the effects of the oil embargo, which sent gas prices soaring, and the US was in the midst of a transition with the end of the Vietnam War. It was a time of change, and the United States Mint, like always, was cranking out coins to keep the economy moving. So, what makes the 1973 S penny so special? Well, if you take a close look at this coin, you'll notice it has a subtle but significant difference compared to the average 1973 penny. The S mint mark indicates that this penny was struck in the San Francisco Mint, which is home to some of the most famous and historic US coin production. But here's the thing, only a small number of these pennies were made, and most of them weren't in perfect condition. So, what makes this coin so intriguing to collectors today? To understand the real value of the 1973 S penny, we need to talk about its rarity. Unlike many pennies that were produced in large quantities and circulated extensively, the 1973 S penny didn't get as much circulation. This coin was primarily struck for collectors, and many of them were either stored away in collections or simply lost to time. So, finding one of these pennies today is a rare treat, especially if it's in exceptional condition. If you come across a 1973 S penny that's been kept in near mint condition, it could be worth far more than just a single cent. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Like many coins from the 70s, the 1973 S penny was made of copper, and over time, many of these coins have shown signs of wear. The corrosion and discoloration can diminish the value of a coin, but there's a special group of these pennies that remain in fantastic shape, some even without the usual wear and tear that you'd expect from coins that were used in circulation. These pennies, in near-perfect or mint condition, are the real goldmine for collectors. Now, here's the kicker, the true value of a 1973 S penny depends heavily on its condition, but there's one particular version of this coin that can make your jaw drop. The 1973 S penny with a proof-like finish, meaning it has a smooth, mirror-like appearance, is highly prized among collectors. These coins were struck with a special die, and while they were originally meant to be sold in sets to collectors, a few ended up circulating among the general public. As you can imagine, finding one of these proof-like pennies in good condition is a rarity. So, how much could a 1973 S penny be worth if it's in mint condition or has a proof-like finish? Well, you're in for a treat. You might think a penny is worth just a few cents, but if you're holding onto a well-preserved 1973 S penny with that perfect finish, it could fetch an incredible amount at auction. Are you ready to find out the real worth of this coin? If you've got a 1973 S penny in pristine or proof-like condition, it could be worth up to $78,000. Yes, that's right, $78,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe, but this is what makes rare coins like the 1973 S penny so fascinating. The world of numismatics is full of surprises, and even a humble 1-cent coin can end up being worth a fortune if you happen to have one in excellent condition. So, next time you're flipping through your coin collection or browsing through a box of change, keep an eye out for the 1973 S penny. It might just be the hidden treasure you've been looking for. Top 3, we have an exciting discovery for all you coin collectors and history buffs out there. You may have a small treasure sitting right under your nose, and it could be worth more than you'd ever expect. We're talking about the United States 1-cent coin from 1981, a penny that might seem like just another common coin, but in the world of numismatics, it's so much more than that. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know how this small coin could turn into a big payday. So let's rewind a bit and set the scene for 1981. The United States was in the midst of a significant transition. Ronald Reagan had just been inaugurated as the 40th president, and the country was navigating through some tough economic times, including high inflation and unemployment. Amidst all this, the U.S. Mint was busy producing millions of pennies. It might seem like a mundane detail, but what makes the 1981 1-cent coin interesting is that it marks a turning point in U.S. coinage history. At the time, the 1981 penny was produced in large numbers, and most of them circulated widely. They were made from copper-plated zinc, as was the case for many pennies at the time. The design of the coin stayed the same as it had for decades: Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse side, and the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Nothing too extraordinary, right? So, why are we talking about it today? Well, just because a coin is part of regular circulation doesn't mean there aren't rare and valuable versions hiding out there. The 1981 penny is a prime example of how condition and specific characteristics can drastically affect a coin's value. While most 1981 pennies are worth just their face value, 1 cent, there are certain variations of this coin that can be worth a whole lot more. These rare versions are what collectors are searching for, and they can make a significant difference in how much a 1981 penny is worth. One of the key factors that can affect the value of a 1981 penny is its condition. Like any collectible, the state of preservation is crucial. If a 1981 penny has been kept in near mint condition, with minimal wear, scratches, or discoloration, it will be worth more than the average penny. These well-preserved coins are in high demand because collectors are always on the lookout for examples in pristine condition. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's one particularly rare and valuable version of the 1981 penny that every collector hopes to find: the 1981 penny with a minting error. This error occurs when something goes wrong during the production process, resulting in a coin that deviates from the standard design. While these errors are rare, they do happen, and when they do, the coins become highly sought after. The 1981 penny with a double die error is one of the most valuable varieties you could stumble upon. A double die error happens when the design on the coin is struck more than once, creating a noticeable doubling effect on certain parts of the image. With the 1981 penny, you can look for doubled features on the words "Liberty" or "In God We Trust" on the obverse. If you find one with this error, you've hit the jackpot, because these coins are incredibly rare, and their value skyrockets. Now, you might be thinking, how much can a penny really be worth? Well, if you're lucky enough to have a 1981 penny in exceptional condition, or better yet, one with a minting error like a double die, you could be sitting on a small fortune. The truth is, rare coins like these are worth far more than their face value. And now, for the big reveal. If you happen to come across a 1981 penny with one of these rare features, whether it's in mint condition or has a valuable error, it could be worth up to $67,000, that's right, $67,000 for a single penny. Who would have thought that a coin worth just 1 cent when it was first minted could now have such an extraordinary value? The world of rare coins is full of surprises, and this 1981 penny is a prime example of how something so small can hold such incredible worth. So, the next time you go through your pocket change, or check through your coin collection, make sure to give those 1981 pennies a second look. Who knows, you might have a small fortune waiting for you. Top 4, we're diving into a coin that may seem like just another old penny, but trust me, there's more to this little piece of history than meets the eye. If you're a coin collector, or just someone who loves discovering hidden treasures, you're in for a treat today. We're talking about the 1971 United States 1-cent coin, a penny that's not as ordinary as it might appear. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll find out how this simple penny could be worth far more than its face value, and I mean far more. Now, let's set the stage for 1971. The United States was in the midst of some pretty interesting times. The economy was adjusting to inflationary pressures, and the country was transitioning through a post-Vietnam era. But while all of this was happening, the U.S. Mint was hard at work producing millions of coins, including the 1971 penny. This coin is part of the long-running Lincoln series that has been in circulation for well over a century. On the obverse, you've got the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, and on the reverse, the familiar Lincoln Memorial design. At first glance, the 1971 penny might look just like any other penny from the time, but the story doesn't end there. Here's where it gets interesting. While the 1971 penny was produced in large numbers, a few key factors make some of them more desirable to collectors than others. As we all know, not every coin is created equal. Condition, rarity, and errors all play a major role in determining a coin's value. Now, let's talk about condition. Most of the 1971 pennies that were produced saw heavy circulation, meaning they're often worn down, scratched, or discolored. But what about the ones that were carefully stored away or kept in pristine condition? These pennies are much rarer and more valuable. A coin that's been kept in near-mint condition is worth significantly more than the average circulated penny. So, if you have a 1971 penny that looks as if it just came out of the mint, you could already be holding something special. But wait, there's more to this story. While condition is a huge factor, another big reason the 1971 penny can be worth more than you think is due to the potential for minting errors. During the production of these pennies, some coins were struck with mistakes, and these errors make certain 1971 pennies highly valuable. Error coins are always in demand among collectors, and the more unique the mistake, the higher the value point. One of the most sought-after errors for the 1971 penny is the double die variety. A double die error happens when the design is struck more than once, creating a noticeable doubling effect. In the case of the 1971 penny, you can look for doubling on the date or the word liberty on the obverse. If you spot this kind of error, you've got yourself a rare and valuable coin. Double die pennies are highly collectible, and if you find one in great condition, it could be worth a pretty penny, pun intended. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. The 1971 penny also has a special version that can command some serious attention from collectors, the 1971 S Mintmark penny. This version was struck at the San Francisco Mint, and while it wasn't produced in as large numbers as the regular 1971 pennies, it's still something that collectors are eager to get their hands on. While the S Mintmark by itself doesn't necessarily make the coin worth a fortune, if you find one in excellent condition, especially if it has a minting error or a proof-like finish, its value can skyrocket. So, how much could you be looking at if you've got one of these rare 1971 pennies, either in mint condition or with a valuable error? Well, the value of a 1971 penny can range from a few dollars to a few hundred, depending on the condition and rarity of the coin. But here's the big reveal: if you happen to have a 1971 penny in exceptional condition, or a mint error version that is highly desirable to collectors, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Are you ready to hear just how much this little penny could be worth? That's right, if you have the right 1971 penny, it could be worth up to $79,000. Yes, you read that right. $79,000 for a single penny. It's unbelievable, but it's true. A small mistake, or simply having the coin in pristine condition, can turn a regular 1-cent piece from 1971 into a rare treasure that collectors are willing to pay top dollar for. So, next time you're flipping through your change or going through your old coin collection, take a closer look at those 1971 pennies. You might have a hidden gem on your hands just waiting to be discovered. Top 5, we've got an exciting one for all you coin enthusiasts out there. We're diving into a coin that might be hiding in your collection or possibly stashed away in a jar of loose change, and it could be worth way more than you think. I'm talking about the United States 1-cent coin from 1977, a penny that seems pretty ordinary at first glance, but when you look a little closer, you might just have a small fortune on your hands. Let's travel back to 1977 for a moment. The US was in the midst of the 1970s, a decade marked by significant cultural and political change. It was a time of disco, the rise of personal computers, and significant developments in technology and music. But while the world was evolving, the US Mint was hard at work producing millions of coins, including the 1977 penny. It's part of the well-known Lincoln Cent series, with Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front and the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Now, this is where things get interesting. The 1977 penny was produced in massive quantities, so you'd think it wouldn't be that rare. However, just like in the world of art or antiques, not all items are created equal. Condition, minting errors, and certain varieties can make a coin stand out from the rest, and the 1977 penny is no exception. So, let's break it down and figure out what makes this penny one to watch out for. The first thing to note is the coin's condition. Most 1977 pennies were heavily circulated, meaning they've seen plenty of wear and tear over the years. If you come across a 1977 penny that still looks like it was just minted yesterday, you're already on the right track. A coin in pristine or near-mint condition is much rarer than a worn-out one, and that's where the value starts to increase. So, if you've got a well-preserved 1977 penny in your collection, you could already have something special, but that's just the start. The real value of the 1977 penny lies in its minting errors. Just like any other coin, the 1977 penny was struck by machines, and in some cases, these machines made mistakes. One of the most desirable types of minting errors is the double die error. This occurs when the die that strikes the coin is misaligned, causing the design to be doubled on parts of the coin. In the case of the 1977 penny, the doubling might appear on the word Liberty or the date itself. A double die penny is always a collector's dream, and when found in good condition, it can be worth much more than its face value. Another potential error that could make a 1977 penny incredibly valuable is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin isn't properly aligned with the press, causing part of the design to be missing or misaligned. Off-center strikes are rare and highly sought after, especially when the error is noticeable but not too severe. So, if you find a 1977 penny with part of the design missing or offset in an unusual way, that could be a sign that you found a true treasure. But wait, there's another key factor that makes this coin particularly exciting for collectors. The 1977 penny with a special S mint mark is also of interest. While the majority of the 1977 pennies were minted in Philadelphia and carry no mint mark, a smaller number were struck at the San Francisco Mint and feature the S mint mark. These coins aren't as common, and when you find one in excellent condition, especially with a minting error, you could be looking at something much more valuable than the typical 1977 penny. Now, you're probably wondering, how much could this seemingly ordinary penny actually be worth? The answer might surprise you. If you happen to find a 1977 penny in near mint condition, or if you're lucky enough to find one with a rare minting error like a double die or off-center strike, you could be looking at a coin that's worth far more than just a single cent. In fact, depending on the rarity of the error and the coin's condition, this little penny could be worth up to $70,000, that's right, $70,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe, but the world of rare coins is full of surprises, and the 1977 penny is a great example of how something small can turn into a big windfall if you know what to look for. So, the next time you go through your change or dig through your coin collection, make sure to check for any 1977 pennies. If you find one that looks like it might be in great condition or has an unusual error, you might just have a hidden gem on your hands. Top 6, we've got something really special for all the coin collectors and treasure hunters out there. We're talking about the United States 1-cent coin from 1976, a penny that you may have seen 100 times, but did you know it could be hiding a value way beyond its face value? That's right, this seemingly simple coin could be worth a whole lot more than you think, and today we're going to show you why. Let's set the scene for a moment. 1976 was a year of celebration in the United States. It marked the country's 200th birthday, the bicentennial. People were excited, fireworks were lighting up the skies, and there was a renewed sense of patriotism. In honor of the bicentennial, the U.S. Mint produced a special set of coins for the year, including the famous bicentennial quarter. But guess what? While the quarter often gets all the attention, the 1976 1-cent coin also deserves its moment in the spotlight. At first glance, the 1976 penny looks pretty standard. It features the classic Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse, and Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse. However, there are some key factors that set the 1976 penny apart from the rest. Let's take a deeper look at what makes this penny so intriguing to collectors. One of the most important things to note is that, in 1976, the U.S. Mint produced two different types of pennies, one with a regular copper composition and another with a copper-plated zinc composition. Most of the 1976 pennies that were produced were made with the latter composition, which means they're not particularly rare. But that doesn't mean every 1976 penny is just another run-of-the-mill coin. In fact, some 1976 pennies, especially certain varieties, can be worth much more than just 1 cent. The key to this coin's value lies in its condition. Like any collectible, the state of the coin makes a huge difference. Most 1976 pennies saw heavy circulation, meaning they're often worn down, scratched, or discolored. But if you happen to have one that's in near mint or mint condition, well, you're holding on to something that could be quite valuable. Coins that have been well preserved over the years are harder to come by, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar for pennies that still look brand new, but there's more to the 1976 penny than just condition. The real excitement comes when we start talking about minting errors. Like many coins, some of the 1976 pennies were struck with mistakes, and these errors can make them incredibly valuable to collectors. Minting errors happen when something goes wrong during the production process, and these coins become highly prized among collectors because they're rare and unique. One of the most coveted errors on a 1976 penny is the double die error. This occurs when the coin's design is struck twice, causing the image to appear doubled in certain areas. If you're lucky enough to find a 1976 penny with a double die error, you've hit the jackpot. Double die pennies are highly sought after, and the rarer the error, the more valuable the coin. Another error that could make your 1976 penny worth a lot more is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not aligned properly in the press, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted. If you find a 1976 penny with an off-center strike, especially if it's a significant shift, that could be worth a pretty penny, pun intended. In addition to these errors, there's also the possibility that your 1976 penny could be a proof coin. Proof coins are specially made with a higher level of detail and a mirror-like finish, and they were usually struck for collectors. While most of the 1976 pennies were not proof coins, if you happen to find one with that special finish, it could be worth more than a regular circulated penny. So, how much could your 1976 penny be worth if it's in pristine condition or has one of these rare minting errors? Well, the answer might surprise you. Depending on the rarity and condition of the coin, your 1976 penny could be worth a whole lot more than just 1 cent. And here's the big reveal: if you have a 1976 penny with a minting error or in mint condition, it could be worth up to $69,000. Yes, you read that right, $69,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe that something as small and seemingly ordinary as a penny could have such a high value, but that's the magic of rare coins. So, the next time you go through your change or dig through your coin collection, take a closer look at those 1976 pennies. Who knows, you might just have a hidden treasure on your hands. Top 7. We have a fascinating discovery for all you coin collectors and treasure hunters. If you think that a simple penny could never amount to anything more than a few cents, think again. The 1973 United States 1-cent coin, while seemingly ordinary, might be hiding a value that will leave you shocked. So, if you've ever wondered whether your pocket change could be worth something extraordinary, stay tuned, because this penny could be worth much more than you think. Let's take a trip back in time to 1973. The world was changing rapidly, with major events like the end of the Vietnam War, the Watergate scandal unfolding, and a global energy crisis impacting daily life. In the midst of all this, the U.S. Mint was busy creating the coins we use every day, including the familiar Lincoln cent. The 1973 penny was part of the ongoing Lincoln series, which has been one of the most enduring and recognizable coin designs in American history. On the face of the penny, we see the classic image of Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse side features the Lincoln Memorial, symbols of America's proud history and values. At first glance, there's nothing too extraordinary about the 1973 penny. In fact, millions of these coins were minted and circulated, making them seem like just another ordinary piece of change. But here's where things get interesting. Not all 1973 pennies are created equal. The real value in these pennies lies in their rarity, condition, and sometimes, even minting errors. You see, over time, coins that have been in circulation can show signs of wear and tear, scratches, discoloration, and other imperfections. But here's the catch: if you happen to find a 1973 penny that has been kept in pristine condition, it could be worth a whole lot more than just 1 cent. A penny in mint or near mint condition is far rarer than the average circulated coin, and collectors are always on the lookout for coins in excellent shape. But the value of the 1973 penny doesn't just come down to condition. There are certain varieties of this coin that could make it even more valuable, especially if it has a rare minting error. Minting errors are essentially mistakes made during the production of the coin, and they are highly sought after by collectors. These errors can make a coin unique, which is why they can command a much higher price than a standard coin. One of the most desirable types of error for the 1973 penny is the double die error. This occurs when the design is struck twice, creating a noticeable doubling effect on parts of the coin. In the case of the 1973 penny, the doubling might show up on words like liberty or in God we trust. If you find a penny with this error, it's a collector's dream, and its value can skyrocket, especially if the coin is in great condition. Another minting error that could make your 1973 penny worth more is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted. Off-center pennies are rare, and depending on how severe the error is, it could significantly increase the coin's value. If you find a 1973 penny with an off-center strike, you've likely found a hidden gem. Now, you might be thinking, how much could a 1973 penny really be worth? After all, it's just a penny. Well, let me tell you, rare coins with the right combination of condition and error can be worth a lot more than their face value. While most 1973 pennies are worth just 1 cent, certain varieties and error coins can fetch a jaw-dropping price. And now, here's the moment you've been waiting for. If you happen to have a 1973 penny in exceptional condition, or if you come across a minting error like a double die or off-center strike, you could be looking at a value of up to $73,000. Yes, you read that right. $73,000 for a single penny. It's unbelievable, but the world of rare coins is full of surprises, and the 1973 penny is a perfect example of how something small can be worth a lot more than you might expect. So, the next time you go through your change, take a closer look at those 1973 pennies. If you find one that looks like it's in perfect shape or has an unusual error, you might just be holding a valuable treasure in your hand. Top 8. We have something truly exciting for all you coin enthusiasts and collectors out there. It's a coin that might seem like just another regular penny, but trust me, there's more to it than meets the eye. We're talking about the 1990 United States 1-cent coin, a penny that you could very well have tucked away in a jar of loose change or even buried in your collection. And you may be surprised to learn that it could be worth way more than just 1 cent. Now, let's rewind a little and take a trip back to 1990. The United States was in the midst of the 1990s, a time of technological advancement, economic growth, and cultural shifts. While things were changing around the country, the U.S. Mint was hard at work producing coins, including the familiar Lincoln cent, which has been in circulation for over a century. The 1990 penny, like many of its counterparts, features the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, symbols of American history and values that make this penny instantly recognizable. But here's the kicker: while the 1990 penny may seem like just another modern-day coin, there's more than one reason why collectors are keeping an eye on it. The truth is, not all 1990 pennies are created equal. You see, just because millions of these coins were minted doesn't mean they're all the same in terms of value. A number of factors, condition, rarity, and even minting errors, can make this penny worth far more than its face value. Let's start with the first key factor: condition. Like most coins, the 1990 penny was produced in large quantities and circulated widely. Over time, this means many of them were worn down, scratched, or discolored. But if you're lucky enough to come across a 1990 penny that's been kept in excellent, near mint, or mint condition, you've already got a coin that's more valuable than a typical circulated penny. Coins in top-tier condition are much rarer, and collectors will pay handsomely for them. But wait, there's more. The real treasure lies in the potential for minting errors. During the coin production process, sometimes things don't go exactly as planned, resulting in errors that can turn an ordinary penny into a rare find. Minting errors are one of the biggest reasons collectors flock to coins from certain years, and the 1990 penny is no exception. One of the most desirable types of errors you'll want to watch for is the double die error. This happens when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned, causing parts of the design to appear doubled. On a 1990 penny, you might see doubling on elements like the word Liberty or the date. A double die penny is one of the most sought-after types of error coins, and it can make a huge difference in value. Another error that could add significant value to your 1990 penny is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not aligned correctly during the minting process, causing the design to be struck off-center. These off-center pennies are rare and highly collectible, especially when the error is more pronounced. If you come across a 1990 penny with an off-center strike, it could be a real gem in your collection. But the 1990 penny isn't just about errors, it's also about scarcity. Some of these coins were minted in smaller quantities, and if you manage to find one in impeccable condition or with a rare error, you're looking at a coin that could be worth much more than you ever imagined. Now, let's get to the good part. How much could your 1990 penny actually be worth? If you find a 1990 penny that's in exceptional condition or has one of these rare minting errors, you could be sitting on a real treasure. A well-preserved 1990 penny, especially one with a minting error like a double die or off-center strike, could be worth up to $55,000. Yes, you heard that right, $55,000 for a single penny. It's incredible to think that a coin that's been in circulation for decades could have such an impressive value, but that's the world of rare coin collecting. So, next time you're sorting through your spare change or digging through an old coin collection, make sure to keep an eye out for that 1990 penny. It could just be worth more than you ever imagined. Top 9, we're diving into the world of the 1978 United States 1-cent coin, and believe it or not, this little penny might be worth far more than you think. Now, let's set the scene and go back to 1978. It was a pivotal year in U.S. history, a time of change and progress. The U.S. was transitioning into the late 70s, with technology rapidly advancing, the economy shifting, and pop culture moving in exciting new directions. It's also when the U.S. Mint produced millions of pennies for circulation, including the 1978 1-cent coin. While this penny may seem like any other penny from that era, there's a secret hidden in the details that could make it incredibly valuable. At first glance, the 1978 penny looks pretty typical. It features Abraham Lincoln's iconic portrait on the front, and the Lincoln Memorial on the back, standard designs that have been part of the Lincoln cent series for decades. So, what makes this penny so special? Well, the truth is, the value of any coin depends on a few key factors: its condition, its rarity, and sometimes, its errors. And with the 1978 penny, these factors come into play in ways that could make this coin worth a whole lot more than its face value. Let's start with condition. Like many other coins, most of the 1978 pennies were heavily circulated, which means they've likely been worn down, scratched, or discolored over the years. So, finding one in pristine or near mint condition is already a win. Coins that have been well taken care of are much rarer than their circulated counterparts, and this is what makes them so valuable to collectors. If you have a 1978 penny that still looks brand new, you might have something much more valuable than a typical, well-worn penny. But condition isn't the only thing that can add value to a 1978 penny. Minting errors are another crucial factor in determining a coin's worth. You see, during the production of coins, sometimes things don't go exactly as planned, and this can lead to mistakes in the design. These minting errors, especially when they're rare or unique, can turn a regular coin into a collector's dream. One of the most common errors found in older pennies, including the 1978 version, is the double die error. This happens when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned, causing parts of the design to be doubled. In the case of the 1978 penny, you may notice doubling on the lettering of Liberty or the date itself. A double die penny is considered a highly valuable find because of its rarity and the fact that it's a mistake from the minting process. If you happen to find a 1978 penny with this error, you've hit the jackpot. Another error that could make the 1978 penny especially valuable is the off-center strike. When this happens, the coin is not aligned properly during the minting process, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted. Off-center strikes are often highly collectible, particularly when the error is pronounced and easy to see. If you find a 1978 penny with an off-center strike, it could be worth far more than a regular, undamaged penny. Beyond errors, the 1978 penny's value can also be influenced by its rarity. While most of the 1978 pennies were minted in large numbers, there are certain varieties or variations that are less common, and finding one of these could increase its worth significantly. So, let's get to the big question: how much could your 1978 penny be worth? If you happen to find a 1978 penny in exceptional condition, or even better, one with a rare minting error, you could be holding a coin that's worth much more than you'd expect. In fact, depending on the rarity of the error and its condition, a 1978 penny could be worth up to $70,000. Yes, you heard that right, $70,000 for a single penny. It's mind-blowing, but in the world of rare coins, anything is possible. So, the next time you come across a 1978 penny in your change, make sure to take a close look. You might just have a hidden treasure on your hands. Top 10, and this last video is going to blow your mind. We're talking about the 1980 United States 1-cent coin, something that may look like just another penny, but trust me, it could be worth far more than you'd expect. So grab your magnifying glass and get ready, because we're about to dive into the incredible value of this seemingly ordinary coin. Let's rewind to 1980. It was a time when the US was navigating through the early years of the 80s, a period of economic shifts, technological progress, and cultural change. While the world was going through so much, the US Mint was busy producing coins, including the 1-cent pieces we know so well. The 1980 penny is just like every other Lincoln cent that came before it, featuring the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Simple, right? But don't let the design fool you. This coin has some hidden value that many don't know about. Now, here's the thing. While millions of 1980 pennies were made, not all of them are worth the same. Most circulated pennies from 1980 are still found in the wild today, and their value is typically just 1 cent. However, if you have one that's in outstanding condition, or even better, has a minting error, you could be holding on to a very valuable coin. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. Over the years, coins that were used in daily transactions often got damaged, scratches, discoloration, and wear and tear from constant handling. But if you happen to find a 1980 penny that has been kept in pristine condition, with no visible signs of wear, you're already in the money. Coins that are well preserved and in near mint or mint condition are rare and sought after by collectors, and they tend to be worth significantly more than coins that have been through heavy circulation. But there's another factor that can greatly increase the value of a 1980 penny: minting errors. Minting errors occur when something goes wrong during the coin production process, and these mistakes are highly collectible. Some of the most valuable errors can make an otherwise ordinary coin a true treasure. For the 1980 penny, one of the most valuable types of errors to look out for is the double die error. This happens when the coin is struck twice, causing parts of the design to appear doubled. If you spot this error on a 1980 penny, especially on details like the word Liberty or the date, you've got a rare find. Double die pennies are always in high demand among collectors, and if yours is in good condition, it could be worth a small fortune. Another error that could make your 1980 penny even more valuable is the off-center strike. This error occurs when the coin is misaligned during the minting process, causing the design to be partially missing or shifted. Off-center strikes are quite rare, and the more pronounced the shift, the more valuable the coin. If you find a 1980 penny with this type of error, it could be worth much more than you ever thought possible. Beyond these errors, there are other factors that could make your 1980 penny stand out. Some varieties or subtle differences in the coin's design or minting process can also affect its value, but minting errors tend to be the most exciting for collectors. So, how much could your 1980 penny actually be worth? If you happen to find a 1980 penny in perfect condition, or better yet, one with a minting error like a double die or off-center strike, you could be holding a coin that is worth much more than you ever imagined. In fact, depending on the rarity of the error and its condition, your 1980 penny could be worth up to $61,000. Yes, that's right, $61,000 for a single penny. It's unbelievable, but that's the world of rare coin collecting. A small, everyday penny from 1980 could turn out to be a true treasure, especially if you find one with a rare minting error or in pristine condition. So, the next time you're digging through your spare change or looking through your coin collection, make sure to take a close look at those 1980 pennies. Who knows? You might just have a valuable coin worth thousands of dollars. If you found any rare coins or minting errors in your collection, leave a comment below and tell us about your discoveries. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more exciting coin finds. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting.